Good morning. Day 5. So today I'm doing something a little different. Instead of going northbound, I'm going southbound. Dwight dropped me off at Neal Gap, where I will hike south 6.7 miles to, got these spider webs again. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, hike south to Henry Gap again, where he will have the car for me, and I will jump into the car and drive myself back to where we're staying, which is about a mile away. So I noticed yesterday the video ended very abruptly. I thought I had videoed reaching Henry Gap. I think what happened was I hit the record button and my finger accidentally turned it off. But you all will see Henry Gap again today at the end of this hike. Whoa. Going uphill. Okay, highlight of the day, or challenge of the day, is Blood Mountain, which we're starting climbing right now. It's a 2-mile hike to the top, and it's basically a lot of boulder climbing, rock scramble, and I decided to do it this way because I would much rather go up those boulders than down those boulders. So, but cool thing about it is Blood Mountain is my first 4,000 footer. I think the elevation is like 4,447 feet. It's the tallest mountain in Georgia on the Appalachian Trail. It's going to have some killer views at the top. It also has the oldest shelter on the Appalachian Trail at the top. Built in 1937, I think, by the CCC. Okay, more to come later. I am 1.1 mile up Blood Mountain, and it looks like I've kind of reached the boulder section. There's a blaze, right? Not good, this finger thing. I don't know if you can. There. It's in the center of the screen. There's a blaze, and it goes up these rocks. So this is the trail. This is what it looks like behind me. This is actually a dark rhododendron forest. Looks awful light in the video, but we gotta go down. Almost to the top of Blood Mountain. Blood Mountain Shelter, oldest shelter on the AT. Built in 1930 something. Let's go inside and check it out. A lot of people climb up that rock for a view. Very cool view. Oh my long legs. The logbook you can sign. There you go. No glass in the windows.
It's kind of like that. Yeah, exactly.
The view after you climb up the rocks near the Blood Mountain Shelter. It's on top of Blood Mountain. Coming down Blood Mountain, I'm not even going to try to walk and tell this story. I'm staying put. So, just talked to a guy by the name of, his trail name is Last Mile. He finished his through hike 2 years ago today. So he's just taking a walk, a 20-mile hike, see some white blazes in honor of his anniversary. But he was telling me that there's a shelter down here, and about 300 yards beyond the shelter, he ran into the largest copperhead he has ever seen. Wasn't in any hurry to get off the trail, so he put some rocks around it so he could kind of tell hikers about it. Probably will not be on the trail by the time I get to it, but I will definitely be keeping my eye out for that. Okay, so this is the area trail where Last Mile said he saw that copperhead. I'm going really slow, really scanning my eyes back and forth on this trail because these sticks look like snakes. You know, when I was on this part of the trail a few years ago, somebody going the opposite direction warned me about a rattlesnake that they saw. And by the time I got there, no rattlesnake. I'm fine with that. I don't mind snakes. If I could see them before they see me, I greatly appreciate that. Okay, so let me tell you, since I mentioned the term, a trail name, what that means. So with trying to get my phone to switch back so you can see me, but it's not working. So with Last Mile, he got his trail name because when he was through hiking the trail 2 years ago, he was hiking with some buddies that he met on trail. And during about the last part of the afternoon, he would say, well, goodbye, guys. And he would hike until they made camp by himself, just kind of at his own pace, in his own thoughts. And so he kept doing that day after day. And they gave him the name Last Mile. So with trail names, it's what people call you here on trail. Like I would not go by my first name. And you can either give yourself a trail name, or you can have a trail name given to you based on something about your personality or something that you've done on the trail or something really stupid that you've done on the trail, something that you're known by with people on the trail. So I have chosen to just wait and see if I get one. Of course, as long as I'm not hiking around people, I won't get one. I think at some point there will be one. You see that butterfly? Cool. Okay, so that's trail names. You're now educated. I'm continuing on. It's downhill until Henry Gap. I'm having lunch here at Girard Gap. Beautiful place. I'm 1.68 miles away from Henry Gap, the destination for the day. But I had a profound experience climbing up Blood Mountain. So I'm going to sit here and have story time with you because I want to record it. I've been pondering what to say and how to say it. So here we go. All right, some background information first. In a couple of days, there's a section of trail that's 16 miles long before Dwight could come and get me. And I don't want to do a 16-mile day. So I was thinking, I could use this as an experiment and do a camping. That way I could camp, and know that the next day I'm getting out and going back to the wonderful safe haven of where we're staying. And another reason why that would be a good idea is because Dwight's here with me for 2 weeks, and I have been hiking just with a day pack, with a day's worth of food and water and emergency stuff. It probably weighs about 7 pounds. My pack that I would be hiking the rest of the trail with weighs 18, with water and a day's worth of food. The other thing is my oldest daughter and her oldest son are coming after hubby leaves and supporting me for about another 5-6 days. So I have support until I get to about the Great Smoky Mountains. And I'm a little intimidated right now because that would be the first time I will have carry my real pack all this time. And when you're in the Smoky Mountains, you can't get out easily. I think it's like 70 some miles, and there is a way halfway through it that you can get out. And I understand it's pretty challenging, so it's a little intimidating to me at this point. That way, so the thought of camping one night, I thought, well, that would give me a bit more confidence. So before I left for the trail today, I looked on the weather, and guess what? The day I was going to conduct this experiment, thunderstorms supposed to come in at 11. And thunderstorm all day, all night, and all day the next day. So I thought this morning, okay, I have 3 options. One option is I go ahead and do it. And I would just have that much more confidence entering the Smoky Mountains. The other option is I skip ahead. I still hike in the thunderstorm, but up the trail where Dwight can pick me up, in a few miles. The third option isn't really an option for me. I mean, it's not an option for me, but it is an option. And that is 2 zeros. So 2 days of rest and then try it out then. Okay, so the third idea is it's not doable. So I thought to myself, well, tonight I will do research and figure out what I want to do about this scenario. Just to let you know, whenever when I'm off the trail, I do something that I refer to as the 3 R's. Refuel, recover, and recalculate. And recalculate is just basically the logistics, working out the logistics for the next day. So now I would add this to the homework assignment, figuring out this experiment that I want to do. So as I'm climbing up Blood Mountain, there's a guy that is going down Blood Mountain. And whenever I run into somebody, I usually just stop, move aside, and I let them pass. Some of them will stop and talk. Others, it's just, hey, how are you? Good. How's the trail? Good. Have a great day. Oh, putting a pause. Husby's calling. Here in this beautiful, in the middle of the woods, there was cell service. So hubby was just wondering where I was. No hurry at all, but he was just, he's been helping Sean and Leah, the people that we're staying with some projects around the house. So they were headed down to Blairsville to get some supplies and was just kind of checking in with me. So I should be back to their place pretty shortly. But anyway, back to the story. So this guy, I meet him on the trail. I stop. He stops and he wants to talk. Ends up, he has been hiking for 14 months. Well, I went, well, here's a guy who has lots of knowledge. I'll just ask him some questions. So I started out with, what's the 1, 2, or 3 pieces of gear that you just really think is essential? And he pulls out a Leatherman tool. He goes, I use this every day. I thru hiked the Appalachian Trail 21 years ago. And I've had this tool ever since then. And I was chuckling because I went, oh, my husband would love to know this story because this is the one tool he wanted me to bring. But I was like, this thing is heavy. I'm not a survivalist. I'm not carrying this multi-purpose Leatherman tool. I don't know. So anyway, we're talking a bit. He is basically using the Appalachian Trail to get to other trails. So he's not like doing the Appalachian Trail. He's using it to jump off to other trails. But he has told me all the trails he's done is just like mind-boggling, totally mind-boggling. So we were having this great conversation, learning a lot, should have taken notes because it was just a whole bunch of really cool information. And there would be other hikers kind of going through us, passing by. Well, then there was this hiker that comes up and he actually joins us in the conversation. He goes, man, this would be a great excuse to have a rest. So we're both talking. And the second hiker that came up said, do any of you all have a YouTube channel? And the guy who is been hiking for 14 months, who I'm not going to use his name at all for his privacy, but he was like, I don't like social media. I'm a Christian. I don't like the way social media is working hard at tearing this country apart. And I was like, that's why I like, talking to you. Well, ends up the second guy, Christian also. So we're all talking. We're talking about the state of the country. We're talking spiritual matters. It gets deep. It gets deep fast. The first hiker carries a Bible in his backpack. He goes to church every Sunday. And during this conversation, it was, trying not to cry. It was one of those God moments. That I could just, the conversations we were having, I could just tell God was speaking to me. And I'm not going to tell you what was said. It's one of those conversations that you keep close to your heart and you ponder, and it changes your way of thinking. I did take a picture of the guys, but no one will ever see it, probably, because I just want a visual to remind me of what took place. What is today? Day 5? Day 5. I've not listened to any music. Even a couple of days ago when I was in the woods by myself for 7 hours until right before the end. No music, no distractions. I wanted, part of this experience was to just have alone time. To pray, to listen to God's still voice. And I didn't want the music to distract me from that. You would think spending 5 days in the woods by yourself with very little people to talk to, very few people to talk to, you'd have a lot of brain worms, but they haven't been there. There's been I have to make so many decisions. Where to place your foot. Don't miss the trail. What are the signs saying? Watch out for snakes. You know, what's that in the woods? Oh, that's a stump. That looks like it's a bear. You know, I mean, it's just being alert. So, that's been my experience today. It has been a blessed day. You know, there's a saying in the hiker world that says the trail provides. I don't believe in it at all. I know God provides, and He uses the trail. He uses the people on the trail and opportunities on the trail to provide. So, He also provided an answer to my experiment I want to do. I'm not telling you what it is. You'll have to wait a couple of days to see what I decide to do. Okay, I'm going to wipe my tears, put on my pack, and go home. Bye. Here we are. Henry Gap. Doesn't really look like a gap. It just looks like you're still on the trail. But there's a little trail here. And you take it, and that's going to lead to my car, where Dwight has left it. He and Sean also they tied this red rag on the tree to help me find this little trailhead. This little trailhead you don't notice when you're climbing up this hill. It was also pinned on my app, so I was keeping an eye out on it. But I'll take that down and head it to my car. Done for the day.